Hello everyone, and thank you for being here. I am your Shakti guide, Helene Westlund, and I welcome you to the Shakti Flow Summit, where we learn how to embrace our feminine flow to receive more joy, energy, and balance in life. In this circle, no time exists, so everyone who watches this now or later are all included in this circle right now. Today, we have a wonderful teaching expert. It is Achintya Devi from Goddess Rising. Achintya is the founder of Goddess Rising, a global sisterhood and school of women's wisdom and moon mysteries, dedicated to activating and empowering the wild sacred feminine within women worldwide through moon priestess trainings and leadership certifications, wild sacred women's retreats, a Her Story Rising publication, and an online global moon sisters temple. She is especially passionate about women reclaiming and embodying the rhythm of their womb wisdom and rising together in sisterhood to reawaken the collective feminine power for lasting transformation within and to serve as a sacred feminine leader in this era of great planetary awakening.
And this is a summit about the feminine energy, so we'll just dive right into it, and you just please tell us, what is your intake? What do you think about the feminine? How do you embody it, and why is it so important today?
Ooh, there's a novel right there. Oh, I am delighted to be with you, beloved sister, and all those that are listening right now. And so, wow, gosh, good first question, diving right in. Well, I think it's important to recognize that with the feminine, there are countless faces of the feminine and facets of the feminine. And why she is so important right now is because over time, culturally, we have not completely lost her, because she can't be fully lost, but many aspects of the feminine have been repressed, have been oppressed, that we've hidden within our own selves culturally, that we haven't embraced. And why it's so important now to remember her is because she is truth, and she is a part of who we are. And so we may well know the aspects of parts of our feminine nature. And for example, I think women, we are very attuned to our intuition and our emotions naturally. And we, because of society's upbringing around, for all of us around the world to some degree, of course, with recognition that there are so many different countries and languages and races and beliefs, but predominantly there is a way in which from patriarchal society, there have been aspects of our own truth, our own self, that haven't been fully embodied or expressed because it wasn't culturally appropriate. Or maybe we were and have been scared to embody those aspects of us. You know, as a prime example, you know, there's so many archetypes of the feminine. And if we take one that's coming to me right now, that's the wild woman. You know, this is part of who we are, that I feel even the most conservative of women deep down feel, you know, a connection to her, you know, want to, you know, connect with her, because it's a part of who we are. And when we bring, for example, the wild woman into our lives, if she hasn't been a part of who we are, what we are essentially doing is we are reclaiming more of our own self. We are reclaiming our power and our truth to be in the wholeness of our own selves, to be in our sovereign selves. And so it's so important at this time, I feel, for us to, this is, you know, for me, the goddess that is rising within us. This is the Shakti, the divine feminine, that is here to be remembered and honored and reclaimed again. And this is absolutely primarily for women, for us to do. And with that being said, of course, there is the feminine in men, there is the masculine in women. And Yet it is absolutely so essential for us as sisters around the world to remember these different aspects of ourselves. And, you know, one of the things about the wild woman, she can rage, she can be angry, she can be, you know, totally messy. And this may be outside of the box of what we've been told is acceptable. And yet it's part of our soul's nature. You know, we may have been told it's not okay to be angry, and it's not okay to be pissed off because, you know, you may be considered a bitch. I don't know if we can share that on here, but anyways, you know, that, you know, if you do certain things, you'll be considered this, which are really the aspects of which society has really ingrained in around the world. And there's so many aspects, you know, to the divine feminine. And this is, you know, one. And there are aspects that we're very familiar with and that have been acceptable, and more of what I would say, you know, the light goddess. And then there's this aspects to the dark goddess. And dark not being bad, dark meaning the inside that is the womb space, you know, which so many of us are remembering and reclaiming. So to me, really on the larger scale, it feels like this is essentially our duty as women, and it's our opportunity. And when we are here to really be leaders of our own lives and be change makers in the world, this doesn't have to be something outward and extravagant. It can be simply that. And by doing that, it's actually embodying. We're all on this journey then of embodying the truth of who we are. And when you do that, and I do that, and millions of women around the world do that, that shifts for everybody.
Exactly. It's a ripple effect as well. So it will be
Yes.
even more. I started to follow you and participated in your online circles. So why is it so important and such a healing feeling to be only women, to gather in a circle?
In my personal experience?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So again, it's our nature. When we are around women and only women, you know, this isn't to say that it's all the time, but to have windows of time in our lives when we are only connecting with women, something very magical happens. On a very esoteric level combined with a biological level, our womb spaces come together, which have an intelligence of their own and begin to communicate. We rest into a sacred space when there are, you know, when there are parameters. You know, for example, I always share that, you know, when we are gathering, that everything that is shared is confidential. You know, so that being these primary agreements, when we have particular agreements to hold us accountable and safe to express, what can happen is women begin to share their truths and to connect at a deeper level in ways that don't happen in a regular social setting. And so when we come into the space with our sisters, we really enter into a sacred time of being with our own truths and remembrance. And we as sisters are reflections for each other, mirrors for one another. So when a woman has a breakthrough or has a challenge and she vulnerably shares her truth, there's immediately a connection, you know, within me or within another sister. Oh, I relate to that. We have empathy with one another. We can witness each other. And through simply witnessing, we are contributing to her life. You know, that not about fixing, not, you know, but simply, you know, witnessing so that we can be heard, we can be felt, we can be honored in that way. And that is revolutionary. And it's a powerful, powerful way for women to be authentically empowered from within, to have sister support. And on a very other interesting level too, when we do connect in that way, our oxytocin begins to flow within us. And so that's the feel good, part of ourselves that is, literally released, where then we begin to feel that juicy, yummy sister connection. And it's literally happening in our brains and in our bodies.
Yeah, and it's about time. I think women have been fighting amongst each other for too long. So I love this space to come together and just being together, creating together. And I feel that we enhance each other's energies as well. So on a collective level, we grow being together. But you travel a lot around the world. And I was curious, you must speak to so many women from so many different parts of the world. Is there something specific that people are wondering or asking about or are thinking about and want to talk about?
I mean, I feel like there's common themes, although every woman is so different, and so I feel some of the common themes really are this attraction to being in sisterhood, this attraction to our own soul's inner knowing, a desire to be in greater communion with our own selves and with each other. And I definitely hear from women around the world that to some degree, they feel that, yes, there's an element of overwhelm, of frustration, of or perhaps despair, but a place where there's so much shifting in the world right now, where there's a yearning for not necessarily, or sometimes women do want to have like the quick fixes, what's the quick fix for this? And there's not a quick fix for, anything, but there's a desire from the heart space, from the womb space to simply, connect and to feel more, to know more, no matter how it's expressed. But when I follow that thread into what a woman is asking or speaking about, really it's for her to know herself more, and not through the mind, but through the heart space. And within that, to have a connection, a connection to God, Goddess, connection to Source, connection to other sisters. And that's such a big theme that I see around the world is, I want to be connected more to other women. I want this community. And that's because that is our nature, and we have been separated. We're not living in villages for the most part, or tribal culture for the most part around the world. Of course, that still exists, and it's amazing. And it's part of our heart's yearning to be in connection.
Yes. And it's a good thing with the internet now, we can actually be in connection all over the world.
Yes.
When it works.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's such a gift that I'm very grateful. And this is one of the ways I feel there's so much, out there on the internet, and, it's neutral, and yet it's the goddess's way where we can weave together and our energies can find each other now. We're not necessarily limited to where we are. And that's a beautiful thing. This is how we get to do this powerful work and play and connect together. So I am ever grateful for the power of technology in all its imperfections.
Yes. We were doing a full moon ceremony on the equinox. And was it? Yes, it was. And we were imagining we were flying around, and you can see all these little spots with all the fires lit all over the world now, because we connect at the same time in different times. And you can see how the world lights up in sisterhood. And it's an amazing feeling.
Yeah, it's powerful to, I imagine that all the time. And I think that there's a reason why, we are choosing to live where we are living, or we've chosen to be incarnated where we are. because we have to be spread out, actually. If we were all in one place, perhaps that wouldn't be of the greatest service to the planet. And so these are the ways in which the internet is really providing this space where we can all come together on a heart space, womb space connection on the etheric and energetic level, which is very real, for us to then embody that in the physical and be therefore affecting our surroundings. And all of us doing that around the world is absolutely creating great, great ripples effect, as you shared before.
So beautiful. This isn't perhaps a question that should be asked on this summit, but you have a little insight on the divine masculine. So I was thinking maybe you can share a little bit about that for the rest of us.
Okay, sure. Is there something specific that you want to ask?
I want to know, are they wanting it as much as we do, to come together and open their hearts for each other and feel connected, just men? Or is it just, to be together with the women who are, or?
I think it is definitely it's different for men. Absolutely. And I think right now, and what I've seen and what I'm witnessing, is that women, it's more of our nature to come into connection that way. Absolutely, there is that for men, but it doesn't feel like it is of the, like it has as much intensity in the desire as we have for women. However, when we think of, I kind of think of that there's that terminology of how women mature, or girls mature faster than boys. I see that evolutionarily, that's a word, right now, where the men are catching up in that sense, where we are expanding and shifting, and really it's a massive wave of the rise of the divine feminine. And it's very, very powerful to recognize that, yes, there is the wave of the divine masculine as well. And all I feel is in the divine order of what is needing to happen. And it is now when we as women have reached a particular collective frequency that actually supports the rise of the masculine. And men are more, from what I've seen, more reserved and more fearful, actually, than generally, to actually come together and to connect in this way. That's across the board general, but there are so many amazing men in this world who are caring and loving and generous and powerful, who are committed to this work and who are committed to coming together. And it's different for men than it is for women in the ways in which we connect. And so that's one of the things that I feel is a common thread, though, absolutely, is to be, for men to be seen, for them to be witnessed. And they have a whole other set of revolutionary shifts that they're experiencing in their lives, where just as we as women, for example, I shared that archetype of the wild woman. If we bring that lens to the masculine, if they are feeling anger or rageful, in that wild man, that's acceptable for the most part in our society. But if we put that archetype for them that is more of, the internal and the quiet, even we put the mother archetype, let's say, or if men are being more vulnerable or crying, what society has shared with them is that it's like, no, toughen up, don't be a wuss. And basically they have been programmed with the messages that it's not okay to feel, or it's not okay to feel sad, or it's not okay to feel vulnerable. This is, generally speaking, of course. And so there's a whole set now of openings and potentials that men have to just as much as it's for us to be accepted in our rage and in our anger and our wildness, you know, and not that this is being angry directed towards necessarily one person and like, you know, raging at them, but just to feel those emotions and express them. As much as it's important for us to feel safe and empowered in that, it's important for men also to feel safe to be in their sadness and in their vulnerability and maybe not in their most, you know, macho state. And that is, you know, therefore for women too, to recognize the programming that we may have inside about men in that way. It's like, yeah, it's okay for men to feel that way. Yes, please. And so many women are like, yes, please feel that, feel that. So it's really this powerful polarity that is existing right now, where we are, in a way, I see this as we're dismantling what has been glued together or what has been predominantly been the programming or the conditioning, and we're loosening the grip, and all of the reference points are moving and shifting. And so we're in this state of, okay, all the puzzle pieces are thrown up in the air. Now where do they fit? And where are they getting rearranged to? And that's one I feel that, you know, is just all here, all accepted, that we are human and that we both, men and women and transgender, have masculine and feminine within us, and we have different sets of challenges right now. So yeah, I'm really grateful you brought that up, because this really isn't just about, you know, the rise of the divine feminine. There is the rise of the divine masculine, and it's important to honor each one and really focus there and go there, you know, in and of themselves, and then how they connect together as well. Yeah.
Beautiful explained. Thank you so much. I think we needed to hear that as well. We've been talking really much about all the feminine works, and yeah, it's not only about us, but also about the men embodying both feminine and masculine. So thank you so much for today. You have a gift for us that will be linked underneath this video, hopefully.
Yes, absolutely.
Can you just briefly speak about it?
Yes, I would love to. So this is a powerful tool that you can have as a daily ritual for yourself, and it is an invitation for you to track your own feminine rhythms. So whether you are in your menstrual years or beyond, it works on the emotional, on the physical, and on the dream, psychic levels as well, for you to be creating a deeper relationship to the moon and to your own cycles. And when you track your own cycles for 3 months or more, you begin to see really powerful patterns that exist within your own physical body, your emotional body, the biological body, and you can really utilize this as a way to begin to, or re-begin to create your life in a way that supports your own feminine rhythms. Because every woman may be on a different cycle. You may be connected and flowing with the rhythms of the moon, exactly, or you may be in polarity or somewhere in the middle. But this is a tool that you can have by your bedside table. You take down a few notes, you incorporate it just like you would a short journal. And, you know, after years even, you have so much data to your own rhythms, and you can utilize that to plan for your life, to know when you will be in a place of greater sensitivity and intuitiveness and in your psychic powers, and when you are going to be in your more outward, go-getting phases, so that you can, instead of having sort of the programming that we have right now in the world is go, 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 do, 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 do. And it's really up to us to create a rhythm for our own selves that isn't dictated to us, but that we are creating for ourselves. So that is a constant challenge. But with this tool of the charting, it really, really supports you to be able to plan your life in that way that you can honor your own rhythms and nourish yourself.
Oh, thank you so much. That is a really great help, because I believe that every woman needs to be in control of her own cycles and to know how to rest and when to rest. I think it's really important in our society today.
Absolutely.
But thank you so much. It was so nice talking to you today. Thank you
so much for having me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I hope I will see you soon again sometime. I have actually signed up for that you can come to Sweden and I will take care of everything. So I'm hoping you will do that someday.
Okay, great. ... Let's connect about that. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.